What is pussy poppin', you beautiful humans? My name is Ariane Andrew.
I'm Matt Dillon, and welcome to another episode of Sippin' the Tea, where we
sip the tea and our guests.
Spill it. Who you got there?
I got a little glee-glit right here.
Mama's here serving a full look today, and we are so excited to welcome Kevin Creekman. He is not just a social media influencer, but his story has inspired millions globally. So what's up, brother? Welcome to the couches.
Thanks for having me.
Sipping the tea.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very good. Have just a little bit of cold, so I hope my
We're gonna
nose is
step
not
right over
sneezing.
here. He's feeling good. When he walked in, someone was like, "Oh, you look like Aquaman." I was like, "Yeah, we got Aquaman here today."
I really appreciate this reference.
Yeah, that's a nice little compliment there.
For sure.
Love it.
So let's just get straight into it. I know you've only been in LA for what, just like a hiccup? You got here December?
Yeah, I moved here like in early December, and I'm here now for 3 months. I
3
think.
months? Okay.
I'm on the visa here for 3 years, hopefully also for a longer term, and I see my future kind of here.
So why LA? What made you decide to move all the way from Germany to LA?
I think there are like many dimensions. There's like a personal dimension. I traveled a lot and I've seen a lot of the world, and I kind of was always more into Western civilization, and was always into medias for sure, and the American lifestyle, the American way of living. So
The American dream,
the thing is,
baby.
I mean, we are all inspired by American medias, the whole kind of
I agree.
world. So if you're in music, if you're into movies, if you're into social media, we have all those kind of visions how things look like, and it's like you find it here in America what you're looking for. So there's one thing, this American dream kind of thing, maybe kind of cheesy, like having my Harley here and doing stuff, you know. But there's also like for sure like a big part that is like business-wise here. So when there is like a place in the world where there's a lot of potential doing stuff in media, it's for sure here. So
I feel like you touched on something great. Like America definitely is. You know, that the shtick of the land of the opportunity, the dream, but it's also like the epicenter of that pop culture. And I think it parlays into your look, number one, but your story. I think, you know, I was reading a couple of articles in the UK press, and I was like, you know, there's so much depth and growth for you to share that here. And that's why I was like, he's definitely way more than just an influencer. You know, your influence, you know, expands across many markets. So I kind of want to just jump into, you know, let's say before the tattoos, because we're going to save that. But I want to talk about your journey in terms of weight loss, and you know, that child and where you are now as a man. How did that evolve? How did that affect you? You know, mentally, emotionally. Lots of questions, but I'd love to hear it in your words.
Spill the tea.
I mean, it's a huge journey, and I was like, when I was a kid, I was like always being overweight, so I had always struggles with my weight, and I never really realized it at this time that it was like a big issue for me. So I grew up like being an overweight kid, getting like heavier till I had like diagnosed obesity and had like diabetes and high blood pressure, so I had the whole package what you can have as a
got hit
kid.
with it all.
Yeah.
And I think I was like 11, 12 years old, and I can remember that I had already stretch marks like on my stomach, on my chest, everywhere. So I was a very heavy kid all my life, and this went through my whole kind of, I'm not sure what it's called, adolescence. Till I turned 18. When I was 18, I weighed like more than 350 pounds. And sure, I tried like several kind of diets, but it never really worked out. And I never had like the willpower to kind of, I went through this whole kind of thing. And, but when you turn 18 and you realize, okay, you finish high school, you're going soon into a new part of your life, you're going to studies. And you didn't have much social life, so my social life was more like, I love World of Warcraft, I love like all those video games.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so I was fine with it. So my day was like going to school. I did school well. I never had problems in school. Went home, did my video games, and this was my life. So
I think that's many people's lives.
Yeah, that is.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I know the social aspect is important because it doesn't, you know, when you kind of secular that, but the fact that you did well at school, you stayed on a relatively clean path in terms of, people go left and right with that social component. I think that's to be applauded, to be honest.
And you went off to go get your degree in social working, right?
Yeah, this came later. So when I was 18, it was like my maximum weight, and this was like the special time in life where I realized, okay, you don't have many friends, or you don't really have like friends to go out with. You never had like experience with girls or stuff, things that should be like normal if you grow up. And when you're 18 and you're stepping to the new part of life, you have to realize where you want to go. It's like
it's that they are.
Yeah.
You face
where you want to go now.
Yeah.
And I realized I probably kind of throw my life away, dying alone and stuff. So I had really those kind of thoughts. And
This was at 18, right?
What?
This was when you were 18. That's
when I was
a lot.
18.
That's some heavy thoughts.
Yeah.
I mean,
But that's real.
It was a pretty serious thought
That's
because
real.
I didn't feel like love from other people's, and so I wanted to change. And with this kind of different mindset and different willpower, was like with this all-in kind of thought. So all in now or nothing or never. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of lucky. It worked out. So I really dropped like over 150 pounds like in 1 year.
Good for you.
And then I was 19 years old. I was in a totally new kind of body, but with like, I think the real heart of journey life really began after I lost my weight, and I need to find my role in a new body, in a new surrounding, and to get all this kind of confidence or, I don't know, feeling from my body back I've never had. So the big journey began actually afterwards when I was 19. I was very skinny at this point, had a lot of loose skin I have to deal with, and I didn't like my body at all. So it was the same kind of feeling. So I was like a fat guy who didn't like himself,
Whoa.
and then I was like the skinny guy who had like to deal with his.
Because you didn't know that body.
Yeah.
And you didn't know. Can I ask you how you lost the weight? Because that's a lot of weight to drop. And I think before we even get to how you dealt with that at 19 in that new body, how did you actually lose the weight? Because I'm sure there's a lot of young people that face that, and I think you could make some,
You're an inspiration. So to,
This is like a bad inspiration at this point because I studied social work. This one I'll tell later, but I learned a lot about nutrition. So nutrition was always my thing. I really read a lot about it, and I know probably more about nutrition than social work actually. But what I did at this point was just I really did this. I soaked everything up. I've heard in the media, so I was on this zero carb diet, and I eat like low calories, so my body just could lose weight. But I think this is not an example for somebody who wants to lose serious weight for a long term with a good body feel, because I went on this almost 1,000 calorie diet. So it worked out, but I wouldn't recommend this.
I mean, that perspective is important to share, though. I mean, it's your honesty and you being that frank really can help a lot of different people, because at least I think no matter what your journey is, if you lead it with honesty, you can impact, and your influence has almost 500,000 on just Instagram alone, and that's where everybody's looking. Yeah. So I think that you being so frank just now, that's powerful.
Being authentic.
Yeah.
Being authentic is definitely where it's at, especially with what we have to look up to now. People are trying to be a certain way, act a certain way, and look a certain way. And, I think it really hits home to people. And that's how you create, a bigger following, is when you are being real and you are being vulnerable, because it shows that you're human. You know what I mean? It shows like, hey, I don't recommend this, but this is how I did it. And let me show you maybe the other way that I can teach you how to do it.
The funny thing is, I never wanted that. So usually, when I started being more or bigger on social media, I really enjoyed being this tatted guy and be just in this new kind of role, and nobody knew about me. So this was always a vulnerable aspect of me, like this past, and I enjoyed being in the role of being a person who's just measured by, oh, he's this tatted guy.
The badass.
So
that's what I thought when I first saw you.
Yeah.
And then, it was crazy. And then I was like, oh no, your
story.
I think it's the whole perspective of it makes it so interesting, though.
Yeah, but at first I never wanted this, but then it came out through one interview I gave, and it was spread all over the medias. And then I thought, okay, I need to go on this journey and spread it to the people. And I mean, it's kind of you're presenting your vulnerability to your audience, kind of, but at the same time you're not vulnerable anymore because everybody knows about you.
Which I get that, and that's a challenge in itself. That's definitely a challenge in itself, no matter when you're sharing even a small part of yourself. And I think I'd love to touch on where the tattoo started.
Yeah.
And I mean, that image and the way your Instagram is so curated, and it's badass. Like, this is Aquaman, but at the same time, I kind of like the emotional part behind that, like how it's to its core. Can you touch on for the viewers where, why that first started?
Yeah, the whole tattoo thing has like also has many dimensions. I started like having my first tattoo when I was 23 years old. I still had to deal with my body issues. I had like this loose skin everywhere, and this kind of tattoo thing I started with my right full sleeve arm tattoo, later with my second arm and stuff. And this was more related, just personal for me. Like, I love rock music. I'm more into this rock music scene, so I was always.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so
I can't see it at all.
so this was like just my aesthetics I want to go for.
Okay.
I want to have long
Yeah.
hair, I want to have my beard,
Yeah.
I want to have my tattoos. This was always my kind of inspiration. And that this whole tattoo game got so big was more related to really to the surgeries I had later. So I saved up like, I think it took like almost 8 years to save the money to pay for the surgeries. And I think I was 26 or 27 or something when I had like my surgeries for getting rid of all the loose skin. And this was also like the point I had like got rid of my skin. My body looked kind of better, but I had like my scars everywhere. So it was the same kind of issue when I was like in somewhere with friends, go swimming, or when I needed to, in a situation like taking my shirt off, I didn't feel comfortable because I was always like presenting myself to somebody. And I'm pretty sure I got always the question, what happened? Because I looked like a truck hit me or something.
Okay.
Because the scars were huge. I had like from there to there, around the body, there. So I have like a lot of them. And I was annoyed of it. Like in every situation, I never felt like free in my skin.
That's a tough.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be like not related to my past.
Yeah.
And everyone don't want to tell everybody about it. So this was like then I went step by step. So I used like my tattoos already have like to a full body project to kind of make this full body transformation. So I feel like full body tatted kind of normal, way more normal, way more accepted than without kind of.
Okay.
So it's like, it was like an all over transformation into more confidence maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, your journey has been it's so nice to have you here, and for I think the audience to see this side and how you've had to go through so many roller coasters from when you were overweight, then you thought when you lost the weight that that was gonna create confidence into like where you're at now and how you're such a huge role model. I think it's just so important that people hear this story because we all have things that we wish could be better, and just your journey in itself is just very inspirational. So
Thank you very much.
yeah, with you now being in LA and being a social influencer and your fitness journey and everything, what do you see in store for you? What do you think is next?
Aquaman. He's like movies. I see
Hollywood.
movies. I see definitely on screen things. You have a great presence.
Yeah, and you're just everything about you. You're very humble too, because with the look that you have, you could be like, I've come such a far way. I deserve to
be a dick.
You could
Let
be
me
an
tell you,
ass, but your energy is so amazing, especially with what you've gone through. You could be like, I deserve to be an asshole because you don't know my story. So what is in store for you?
I actually don't know so far.
That's the most exciting
So
stage.
it's like, I had like always like little measurable goals, and at some point I just wanted to move to the USA for many reasons for myself. And now I'm here, I'm very happy here, and I try to find my way through all of this, like finding my way into the social media business here in LA. I think modeling is already a bit working here, but I'm totally open to everything that's happening here. So I had like my past doing, I was a musician. This was like a first thing before I came into social media. And I have been a tattoo artist for several times. So I can do like a lot of stuff, and I'm not sure where the road leads to, but I'm definitely down to do acting for sure. I'm at the best place for this.
Yes. Right in the epicenter of it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to wrestle. I don't know.
Hey, you never know.
Wait, did you say wrestle?
Yes, he said wrestle.
I'm like,
You about to wrestle right here?
I'm like, wait, do I need to make a phone call right to WWE? I'm just kidding.
Why not? I like the attitude that you have, that there's so much that you're capable of doing, but actually also just being that open to the universe, because I think that attitude will take you far. You know what I mean? It's nice to have you here, because when you look at Instagram or when you read some of the stories, it's like you see like just not even a quarter of who you are in your story. So it's nice to break that down, because I think the more people that get to see behind the wall, in terms of peeking back those curtains, you're going to affect and connect and build even further.
Totally.
You know what I mean? I think it's great. Like, he's this like Aquaman style looking thing on Instagram, like the bikes, the tats, this, but it's also like sharing your personality and sharing that story and it's funny you mentioned like the tattoo process started because you didn't want to keep talking about the thing. It's like every step of that journey that you just explained feels like it was meant to be. Like it's brought you to this right here. And I commend you on that process. And I think there's a lot of people that can really take from this story, and it doesn't have to be people that are overweight. It can just be like confidence and how people get it, and it's different for everybody.
It is.
It's different for everybody, and it's like learning, and just the willingness to be like, I'm not sure what the journey is so frank and real. Because like, God, does anyone really know what their journey is?
Everyone's just, what I say is like, when people on social media.
Except the dogs know what their journey is. Get up, go for a walk.
Right, give me rubbies, some treats.
I was like, get it. Yeah, but I was like, life is about the journey.
It is about the journey.
The ups and the downs.
We forget about the process. And it's nice because, social media paints such this picture that everyone has their shit together when everyone's really trying to still figure their shit out, So
you gotta keep it classy, girl.
So I'm getting to my inspirational,
she gonna get up on that high.
I'm like, let it preach to y'all motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's great. You got me shook. I'm gonna sip some tea.
So let's take a cheers to what?
One question first, girl. You sip it. How many freaking tattoos do you have? Or did you forget? Lose count.
I can't answer this question at all because it's just like
it's a whole body experience.
Yeah, you can collect tattoos in a different kind of way. You can be like a person who collects like single ones and kind of combines it together. But I was always like, went to a tattoo artist and planned body pieces. So I went there and said like, I want to have a sleeve tattoo. I want to have my left arm sleeve tattoo. I want my whole back side. So things are all kind of flown together with one background.
Sorry, honey.
Do certain pieces mean something like very special, or does it have like a meaning behind some of the pieces?
Actually, just my very first one. So my right arm tattoo. Because I think everyone who starts with the first tattoo wants to have a special meaning to kind of be allowed to have it like on the skin for a lifetime.
Yeah.
I think my right arm sleeve has like just a biographic kind of meaning for me, but later was just like finish this project. So it was more like my tattoos have more like an overall kind of meaning for me of transformation, biography, and getting this kind of new life.
I love it. Well, it represents new life.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean that sums that up perfectly. I think it's beautiful.
It is.
I think it's really, your story's kick-ass, and I think Hollywood's gonna love you for sure.
The sky has no limits for you.
Well, she's like, yes, I agree.
Mama's like, yes.
She's like, yeah, she's having a look today.
Looks.
All right. Thank you so much, brother, for coming and sharing and being honest and open about every aspect of your life. Can you look down that lens, my friend, and tell everybody? Tell everybody where they can find you, website, gram.
Basically, you can find me at the Creekman on Instagram, and
best name.
Yeah, the rest you will find over there.
Click through the links. Click through the links on the Creekman because it's got some fascinating stories. Give him a follow because he needs another follower because he hasn't got that many. He's only got almost 500,000. So this is really inspirational, and it's cool to hear somebody. I think you represent a really different sect of people with your story, and I think that's going to reach so many people. So thank you, brother.
Yes.
Thank you
Really
so
appreciate
much,
this.
brother.
Thank you. You guys can follow me across the board at Ariane Andrew and this little nugget at Glitty Glit.
I'm Matt Dillon 1983, and it's Mama 2011. She is living her life today on set.
Okay, guys, that's it. And we will catch you next week on another episode of Sippin' the Tea.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bam. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Yeah, you got the wrong number. Click.